Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today, we're going to focus on retelling the story out loud, our oral retell, for second grade journeys lesson 9. And we're going to retell how Chipmunk got his stripes. For this lesson, we're going to turn and talk. I'm going to ask you questions about main parts of the story. You're going to think about your answers. Then pair up with a partner at home, or you can be my virtual partner. And then you're going to share out your answer, saying it in a complete sentence or sentences. We're going to focus on our speaking skills today. So let's review our vocabulary because you may speak or say some of these words when you answer the questions or retell the story. Number 1, tunnel. A tunnel is a passage or route that is dug underground or through a hill. Tunnel. Number 2, curled. If an animal is curled up, it has pulled its arms, legs, and head together in the shape of a circle. Curled. Number 3, height. Height is the distance from the bottom to the top of something. Tallness. Height. Number 4, direction. Direction is the general way in which someone or something is moving. Direction. Number 5, toward. If you move toward something, you move in its direction. Toward. Number 6, healed. If something healed, it became well again after being sick or hurt. Healed. Number 7, brag. To brag is to talk too proudly about something or to show off. Brag. Number 8, tease. When you tease someone, you make fun of them in a joking way. Tease. All right. How Chipmunk Got His Stripes is a folk tale. A folk tale has no one specific author, told for a long time by a group of people, ordinary characters who live ordinary lives and have something extraordinary happen to them. Folk tales are also stories that have been told orally, that means out loud, from generation to generation over many, many years. Moral. A moral is a lesson about life that a fable teaches. The moral can usually be found at the end of the story. It's also, what did the characters learn? What was the lesson? Let's review our learning target. I can retell the folktale, How Chipmunk Got His Stripes, using pictures, words, and sentences. Success criteria. That means how will you know you're successful at retelling the story out loud, orally, How Chipmunk Got His Stripes? Well, here are our steps to success. We're going to do it one step at a time. I will, number 1, answer the talk about it questions. Number 2, I will say and match the characters and setting. Number 3, say and match the lesson or moral of the story, what the characters learned. Number 4, put the retelling pictures in the correct sequence or order. And finally, 5, say and match the sentences to each picture, saying what happened first, then, later, and last. All right, if you have a partner at home or you're my virtual partner, here's our turn and talk rules. Number 1, eye to eye, knee to knee. You always make sure you're facing the speaker. Number 2, first one person talks, the other person listens. Number 3, then the next person talks, the other person listens. Number 4, do not talk too long on your turn or your partner will not have time to have a turn. You may agree with me when I answer or when your partner answers, and you can say, I agree with you because, or you may disagree, and that's okay as long as you say it respectfully. I disagree with you because, and tell me why. So here's our first major event. Look closely at who is in the picture. And our first question is, how would you describe bear? So we see bear's feet and we see brown squirrel. How would you describe bear and why? So you could say bear is, I know this because. So is bear happy? Is bear angry? How is bear? Bear is, how would you describe him as a character? Bear is, I know this because. Well, I would describe bear as proud. I know this because he did a lot of bragging. He kept saying he could do anything. He loved to brag. And so he was a very proud bear. What does brown squirrel ask bear to do? So after bear kept bragging and saying, I can do anything, I can do anything, brown squirrel asked bear to. So what does brown squirrel ask bear to do? Brown squirrel asked bear to. Well, brown squirrel asked bear to tell the sun not to rise the next day. He said, if you can do anything, tell the sun not to rise. And then the sun set. Here's the next major event. How does bear look in the picture? Why do you think he looks this way? How does bear look in the picture? Why do you think he looks this way? So you can say bear looks because. Well, if you notice, I have my emoji up at the top. It says angry, irritated, furious, irate. I would say bear looks furious because the brown squirrel keeps teasing him because the sun did rise the next day, and he's very upset, especially since brown squirrel is teasing him about it. What does brown squirrel do in front of the other animals? Brown squirrel is blank in front of the other animals. Brown squirrel in front of the other animals. Well, I already answered that in the first question. Brown squirrel is teasing bear in front of the other animals and saying, ha ha, the sun still rose and you said it wouldn't. You said you could do anything, but the sun still rose. And I think this makes bear embarrassed as well as angry because brown squirrel is being disrespectful in front of the other animals. All right, so we've got some vocabulary: tease, healed, toward, tunnel. Why is brown squirrel running away? Why is brown squirrel running away? He's running away toward his tunnel because. Well, he's running away because bear was so angry that bear said, I'm going to eat you. And then squirrel thought quickly and said, but let me apologize first. And so when bear let go of him, squirrel ran, and then bear tried to catch him and scratched him down the back. He's running away because bear was going to eat him. What has changed about the way brown squirrel looks, and what caused the change? What has changed about the way brown squirrel looks, and what caused the change? So at first, Brown Squirrel looked, but in the end, he now looks. Brown Squirrel changed because, so think about that. At first, Brown Squirrel looked, but in the end, he looked. Brown Squirrel changed because. Well, at first, Brown Squirrel was brown. He didn't, and then in the end, Brown Squirrel had stripes down his back. Brown Squirrel changed because he teased Bear, and Bear was going to eat him, but in the end ended up scratching him down his back and causing those stripes. So, what did Brown Squirrel have to change his name to and why? What did Brown Squirrel have to change his name to and why? So he changed his name to because, so think of the title of the story. He changed his name to because well, he changed his name to Chipmunk because he now has stripes going down his back. Do you think the brown squirrel has learned his lesson? Why or why not? Do you think Brown Squirrel has learned his lesson? Why or why not? I think he learned his lesson because, or I think he did not learn his lesson because. And tell me why. Well, I think he learned his lesson because just looking at his face, he looks kind of regretful and he wishes he didn't have the stripes going down his back. And he may look a little nervous because Brown Bear was after him. So I think he learned his lesson because he has stripes now permanently down his back. And that's a reminder not to tease other people. All right, let's retell the story now. Retell of how Chipmunk got his stripes. The main characters are. Who are the main characters in the story? The most important. The main characters are Bear and Squirrel, Brown Squirrel. There were the other animals, but the main characters are Brown Bear and Brown Squirrel. The setting is, where does the story take place? Where does the story take place? The setting is the forest. The setting is the forest. So now we're going to put our pictures in the correct sequence or order. First, then, next, last. First, then, next, and last. So look at that first picture. First, what did Bear do? First, Bear Bear bragged that he could do anything. Brown Squirrel told him to tell the sun not to rise. So first Bear bragged that he could do anything. Brown Squirrel told him to tell the sun not to rise. Then, what happened then? Or later? Then, the sun did or did not rise. Well, Brown Squirrel teased Bear because the sun came up. Bear was furious. Next, what happened? Next, Bear chased Brown Squirrel toward his tunnel. His claws scratched down Squirrel's back. Last, what happened in the spring? While last in the spring, Brown Squirrel's stripes healed. His name changed to Chipmunk. So in the end, Brown Squirrel learned not to tease, and Bear learned not to brag. All right, let's reflect on our learning target. I can retell how the chipmunk got his stripes with a partner using my words, pictures, and sentences. Would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I easily answered the questions out loud and retold the story using sentence starters. Or I was able to answer most of the questions out loud and retold the story using the sentence starters. So if so, give yourself a 3. Or 2, I was able to answer some of the questions out loud and retold some of the story using the sentence starters. Or 1, I was not able to answer the questions and did not retell the story. How do you think you did? 4, 3, 2, or 1? All right, boys and girls, thank you for retelling the story, How Chipmunk Got His Stripes. Have a great day.